Hey y'all, here we go this week with discussion number 6. We had some questions to go over. Be interested to see what you guys have to say. Does the incipit, which is the first few lines of the text, tell the reader what point of view the story will be used, or it will be used throughout the novel? And of course it does. I think it not only does show the point of view, but it sets the tone for the story to come. Without a cohesive beginning to set the scene, readers not transported in a world we're creating as authors. So while it doesn't explain everything, it helps us to get a glimpse of the story to come as a reader, and it lets us know if we're going to be interested in what's happening. As far as describing what I find effective or ineffective about the incipit, I think it's a great way to set the tone. It gives your reader some backstory, allows them to see the world as you see it as an author. Lets them know details about the setting that are important. Sort of the backstory to the story is the way I like to look at it. And from the Hughes list, the characteristics of novel conclusions, Hughes first selected the general characteristics of endings as plot or intrigue. When that wraps up, of course, it's fairly obvious the story's done. The finality of wrapping up the text or making things come back to their harmonious state is another way that the ending happens. I think closing of the text with sentences in italics or a series of dots where the story just comes to an end allows us as a reader to see the story's over and to think about where things are going from there. Using those methods usually indicates there'll be more to come at a later time, so that's something that you can use if you're going to continue your story in another book. Ending with a moral message also can signal the ending of a story, but I think that using moral messages in the thread of the story is more effective than wrapping with one. Finally, a suggestion of closure, but with also infinity, as Hughes said, leaves us an author the ability to continue a story as long as readers or fans imagine the universe continuing. Sequels to movies, trilogies, Star Wars, Star Trek, things like that. Those all employ that to keep the story going. As a reader, how do I react to the ending? As a writer, how can I use strategies in my work? As a reader, if I'm invested in the story, I'm disappointed when it ends. As a writer, employing the strategies that I just talked about can let the reader know where I'm going as a writer. If I say this is a trilogy, then you know the story's going to be done in 3 books. If I say it's a continuing story or whatever, then I'll leave myself open to as many episodes or chapters as the fans or the readers will sustain. I think it's always good to leave a story with the possibility of continuing, because a novel might not catch on right at the beginning, and sometimes after it catches fire, then the readers want more, and having that ability to end ambiguously is probably one of the more important tools as an author that we can have. So looking forward to seeing what you guys think this week, and have a good rest of your week.